Hey girlies, what's up? Long time no talk unless you just watched my Instagram stories. I decided that I needed to film this now before I forgot what I promised at that. So yeah, I mentioned on my Instagram story that I got the apartment. Me and my Pookie have our own apartment. We've been living here for 2 months and some change. We've been here since Halloween Day. Very exciting. So that's where I've been. There's people in the hallway talking. So that's where I've been making my apartment my home with my Pookie. It's been very fun and exciting. Oh my gosh. So that's where I've been, getting settled and everything, and yeah, navigating being on my own for the first time in my life. It's surreal, and I talked about making a whole video about that and things that I wish I knew. So that's gonna be this video quick. Okay, so besides that, it's just been crazy. It's navigating my life for the very first time by myself, and that's weird, bro. So weird. So that's all I can really say. So let's start the video of me explaining the process of getting to where I am currently. So let's start back from the beginning. I knew I wanted to move out soon from my hometown and my house, my childhood home. For a decent amount of time, I knew that I wanted to move to the area I currently am at when I graduated college because I want to teach out here. But plans change, life changes, plans change, okay? So then I was like, well, I met my boyfriend, obviously. I met Jaden, and he lives out here. But I was so used to having him near me because when we started dating, he was in the same town as me. And then after college, he came back home. So like that was hard, and I'm not saying I just moved out here for him. No, that's not it. There's personal reasons behind it. There's all these other things that contribute. Obviously, having one of the most significant people in my life with me or close by is very important for me too, though. So we're gonna keep personal reasonings personal. Don't need to overshare. I'm gonna work on that. So then I started looking into places out here, and at first I was just gonna move by myself, and I didn't tell my mom. Like, I was just exploring the ideas because I'm very much a people pleaser. So I felt like if I told my mom, she would try to talk me out of it because I'm her kid. I wouldn't want my kid to move 3 hours away from me either. So I get it. I had to make sure I knew exactly, and I knew every little detail of how I would be able to survive without my mommy, you know? So first time I came out here to look at apartments, Gwen, my Pookie, came with me, and we looked, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this place, it was a 1-bedroom. My standards were way too high for what I was looking for, or like wanted versus needed. And then pictures versus in person, no good. But then on the way home that day, or the next day, me and her were talking, and we're like, oh my gosh, how crazy would it be if you move in with me? Like, oh my gosh, we'd be roommates. And then that whole idea started. And keep in mind, she's freshly 18, I'm 20. So this was during the summer too. So it was like, oh my gosh, what the fuck are we doing? But yes. So after that, I really started looking for apartments, 2 bedrooms. I started looking at different towns around the area I already knew and finding like safe neighborhoods. Is the cost of living more expensive in this town versus this town? And all these different factors. And eventually I got quite a few apartments lined up and shared them with Gwen, and I basically was the one that did like the booking and everything because I knew for sure what I wanted and things that we needed. And then Gwen's good at looking at like the interiors and things like that. I'm good with like the money and the financials of it all. Plus, like, considering what we get with how much we're paying, because like, I'm not going to share how much I pay for rent here. It's a decent amount. But our water, our gas, and our sewage and trash are all in our rent, which means I be using that hot water. Every second I can get, I'm using that hot water. Don't have to worry about that because it's already in my rent. My rent does not change. Cool. Obviously had to look at square footage. I didn't want our rooms to be too drastic size differences because that was a big problem with everywhere we went to. It was a big thing. Or having to pay for our own parking, or only getting one parking space per apartment. That does not work for us. We have 2 cars. Does not work for us, okay? So, things like that. We set up a bunch. We applied for one, and then the way that they were doing your income was so messed up that we were just like, no, I'm good. By the way, very good to look at how much you make monthly gross and net. And so whatever that is, if you divide it by 3, that's how much rent you can afford, and take that ish seriously. Because together me and her make over 3 times our rent monthly. But like, if I tried to do this on my own, it wouldn't have happened at all. I'm also sitting on my couch chit-chatting to y'all. But yeah, so we got declined, which is fine because the way that they were looking at our income was so stupid. I don't like it. Most places just want you to give pay stubs. Here's 2 or 3 months of pay stubs, and then they calculate it off of that. So that is what we did here. This place tried it, but they didn't consider. There's just miscommunications. But when it came down to it, everything was fine, and everything still is great with our apartment. I have nothing but honestly really good things to say about living here, and this being our first apartment. So then with that being said, we toured 2 different places when we came to look at this apartment. The one that we toured was like, it was still cute, but like there was a few things. But for the price and how big and location, everything else, we're like, okay, like, yeah, we can make do. Like, it's fine. Like, we'll do it. So we applied. First, we got declined because of our income. But that was because they weren't looking at, we both had 2 jobs. They weren't looking at both jobs for all of us. Or both of us. So, like, 4 different types of pay stubs they weren't looking at. So once they did that, we went through some more freaking paperwork, and 6 days before our move-in date, we found out that we got the apartment. And that is a moment that will forever live in my head. I really wish it was recorded. It's recorded in my brain, and I know it's probably in Gwen's brain too, but oh my gosh, it was so surreal finding out. Here, I showed you guys this on Instagram, but this is the picture of us, like, literally moments after we found out. I cried a bunch that night previous. I forget why, but oh, I cried a lot because I was gonna miss my kids at the job I worked at. Like, hours on end, I cried. And then I cried this day too. This was the Halloween party, and it was my last non-school day I worked. I'm gonna stop talking about that because it's gonna make me sad. But we were sitting at the table, and Gwen's emails come directly to her phone, and she got the "congratulations, you've been approved" email. And she like read it quietly, and then she read it a little bit louder, and I was like, oh my gosh. We like stood up, we gave each other the biggest hug, and we ran upstairs, and we had to tell our cook because we were just telling her about all of it, and she was so excited for us. So it was really exciting. Also, keep in mind, I put my notice in for my job that before. Like, when I started, I told them that my last day was probably going to be the end of the month. I think I was already at the job, I should say, and then I came back. So, yeah. So after that, I came out here. I don't even know. Like, I just spent the weekend in awe, came back, and I spent the next 3 days packing up my life, basically. I already had stuff packed, like I told you guys, but I packed up the rest of my stuff. And I came up Wednesday morning, bright and early, on Halloween. Got here right in time, got my keys, came up to the building, and in the apartment we originally toured is not this. So I got like real nervous, but I was like, oh, how different could it be? It's a lot different, but this is way better. And I love our apartment so very much. So I will share more about that another time. And then, yeah, we moved in. We had our jobs already set up. It was a time moving in, y'all. It was a time. I finally feel like we got everything settled. I feel like we got everything in our living room, what we want, where we want it for the most part. Our living room is just so funny because this is our mugshot wall and our art wall from here. There's a cane sign, bunch of Polaroids. Jaden brought this, mugshots. This is our frat wall. We call this our frat wall. Everything else in our house is so cute and put together. But that wall is just kind of funny though. Because honestly, you would think the way our apartment looks, you would think that we've been living here for like 6 months. We are completely moved in. Everything's unpacked. I don't think either one of us has a box somewhere. We've already rearranged like our kitchen like 4 times. But, you know, everything, I think we're finally settled. We're finally where we want to be, you know. But back to all the hoops that I had to jump through. So when applying, things that you should look for, I guess, when you come to look at an apartment is you should have that list already of things you want and things you need, and then basic questions. So some of the first things that I did when I walked in is, you know, I kind of looked at like the paint, the flooring, anything like that, any like chips anywhere, asked about things like that. But then I asked about lights. Like, this is the only, other than our bathroom and our kitchen, that is our only ceiling light. Everything else is lamps or like Christmas lights and stuff. So like I asked about that. I asked about the last time the windows were done. This place, they update the carpets every time someone moves out, which I believe is what they are supposed to do. I asked about the last time that the fire alarms were tested and a whole bunch of things. And then I would put my ear against the wall to see how much I could hear from the other apartment. A lot of stuff, but you got to know what you want to look for. I knew that I wanted our rooms to be close enough to the same size. I wanted a decent sized living room because we are the place that people come over to hang out with, and we spend a lot of our time in the living room. I wanted the kitchen to be bigger than the size of my hand. Kitchen's pretty a decent size. And I don't know, it's everything we need. It's everything we honestly want to in our apartment. The only thing I think we agreed on that if we could have another thing, it would be a balcony. But honestly, I'm okay with not having a balcony either. But yeah, I just love our apartment. So you should already know what kind of questions you want to ask when you get there. If it's an older building, you gotta ask about those windows and such. Like you gotta know what to ask, and things like that. Like this is an older building, so we asked, you know, last time it was renovated, any plans for renovation in the future, like things that could affect you living here. So things like that we asked. Access in and out of the building. A lot of places include the gym if they have a gym. This place has a pool, a gym, tennis court, and the sense of community. I really wanted there to be some type of sense of community, like community events and things like that, and they do that a lot here too. So I really love that. Parking, a whole bunch of different little things to think of. Test the water, how long does it take for it to get hot, and all that stuff. So really do your research and, you know, come with those questions. Don't act like you don't know what's happening. That's how they get you. Sit there with your phone. Be ready to ask those questions. Even if they already answered it, ask it again. because see if they change, you know? You can catch people slipping, trust. So that, and then we got lucky with this apartment that when we were walking out, that we saw someone that lived here, and we asked him, like, hey, how do you like living here? He was really cool, honest, he was amazing. And we're like, okay, and like drove home and, well, back to Jaden's house and, you know, talked about it. We love this place so much that when we got back to Jaden's house, we sat down and we wrote everything out that we would need to pay for bill-wise, and we basically created a budget for if we did move here. And what would you know, we ended up applying, and this is where we live now. For both of us, I think it's very surreal yet. But yeah, when you make a budget, back to the 3 times rent, you need to also, maybe you do make 3 times the rent. I don't like how this is like reflecting me, but you also need to consider everything else you need to buy, what is and isn't included in your rent. Okay, so only utility I have to pay for outside of my rent is electric, and that also like can change monthly. So that I have to pay for Wi-Fi, like to rent my box. Otherwise, Wi-Fi is covered through my rent as well. Your groceries. What kind of lifestyle are you living? Are you a girly that needs to go and get a coffee every morning? Well, you might have to cut that back, or you might have to look for a different place. So things like that, being able to stick to a budget or your financial planning, I guess. Because then you have to consider, sure, everything's okay now, but do you have extra money in case you need something? Like my brakes on my car, didn't think I would need those. I needed them. So being able to figure that out. Also, I hate when people say, don't move in with your best friend. Don't do that, it's horrible. You need to know how you and your best friend truly are in your own forms. Pookie has seen the best and worst sides of me before we even moved in. And it's perfect. We haven't had any problems with each other. It's been amazing. It's literally like mind-blowing. It's amazing living with your best friend. Truly. I don't know, I just love it. I love it a lot. What else when it came to moving in? I had to transfer my bank account. There's a lot of stuff that, like, excuse me, could wait. It just depended on if I wanted to wait to do it or not. But, like, first and foremost, first day I spent cleaning. I went and I got our Wi-Fi. I had to set up our electric. Luckily, our electric, a lot of stuff now is just online. It's easy. Also, you need to get renter's insurance and proof of it before you move in. Yeah, I did my research on who I wanted. I have State Farm, and I got State Farm because it was easy. A lot of this stuff, like I said, though, you can do online, so it's easy. Same thing with my electric. I just did it online. So yeah, so that's like day one things, and then obviously making sure you eat. We had to go to Walmart and get a few things. Oh my gosh, Walmart is so expensive now. Like, oh my gosh, we go to Aldi. Aldi's our go-to. I'm sure when we get paid on Friday, we'll do a video. So that was like day one. Day two, kind of same thing, and just again, slowly getting everything settled. Someone is upsetty. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm just gonna talk louder so y'all can't hear it. Cut that out, baby. So yeah, but we're gonna fast forward a bunch, okay? We're gonna come to today. So basically in the past like couple weeks into Christmas, me and Jaden have been hitting back and forth the idea of having a channel together. And then me and Gwen also having a channel together. So me and my bookie and me and my pookie, you know? So basically what we decided is for my channel, the channel that I'm currently on, it's going to be me and Jaden's channel. I will do a lot of vlogging and a lot of all that stuff because honestly, I will probably remember more than Jaden, but he's going to want to be the one that does like sit down videos and challenges, and he's gonna edit, and he's gonna be like here a lot. Like y'all are gonna see him a lot more. And so that's what's happening to this channel. I'm not going away, promise. Other channel I have is Pookie's Pod. That is me and Pookie. We actually filmed, edited, and uploaded our first video today, and it was us going to CVS, and we just bought random candy waiting for her prescription and tested it and did a taste test, and she killed it. She edited it. It's uploaded. Channel's up. So I have to create our Instagram. I don't know. Might not happen tonight, but I will do that. And yeah, so that channel, more vlogs again, us, just like me and her, like our life together. And then probably car videos. Jaden hangs out with us a lot on the weekends. He comes here and we all hang out. So I'm sure he'll make an appearance in probably one of the car videos. Sooner than later, I would say. So yeah, that's all I have for now. It was a lot, because I talked for a very long time. But that is all I have for now. I'll see you guys very soon. But for now, you guys can go watch Pookie's Go to CVS and try random candy. You can go watch that. I'll link it below. Please subscribe to that channel as well. So just a few changes are going to be coming to the channel, but not much, nothing crazy, y'all. So yeah, keep up with it, because I can barely keep up with myself. So again, until next time, love you guys. Spread peace and love.